Is Jesus offended if someone is interested in him but doesn't want anyone else to know? Today, I answer that question. Hi, I'm Alex Ennis with Simplify Strategies, and this is the 15th devotional in our series, March to the Cross. Hey, thanks for joining me. At Simplify Strategies, we give God-inspired solutions to help you with your personal challenges, help you find your path forward. Today, we meet the woman with the hemorrhage in our 25 unique persons and things Jesus met on his way to the cross and resurrection. This devotional has a story within a story. If you missed the one on Jairus, please go here and watch that one first. The Your Path Forward takeaway is this: Jesus welcomes the nonchalant. We find the story in Mark 5, verses 21 to 34. Jesus got into the boat again and went back to the other side of the lake, where a large crowd gathered around him on the shore. Then a leader of the local synagogue, whose name was Jairus, arrived. When he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet, pleading fervently with him. "My little daughter is dying," he said. "Please come and lay your hands on her. Heal her so she can live." Jesus went with him, and all the people followed, crowding around him. A woman in the crowd had suffered for 12 years with constant bleeding. She had suffered a great deal from many doctors, and over the years she had spent everything she had to pay them, but she had gotten no better. In fact, she had gotten worse. She had heard about Jesus, so she came up behind him through the crowd and touched his robe. For she thought to herself, "If I can just touch his robe, I will be healed." Immediately the bleeding stopped, and she could feel in her body she had been healed of this terrible condition. Jesus realized at once that healing power had gone out from him, so he turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my robe?" His disciples said to him, "Look at this crowd pressing around you. How can you ask who touched me?" But he kept on looking around to see who had done it. Then the frightened woman, trembling at the realization of what had happened to her, came and fell to her knees and in front of him and told him what she had done. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Your suffering is over." As a quick review, Jairus has a need for his little girl. It's his only daughter when you read this account in Luke. He's desperate. The religious leaders despised Jesus as he took their followers, and the crowds were now following him and not them. He is risking his very life, Jairus is, to come and plead for his daughter. Now, we don't know the woman's name, but we know her condition. She's had a debilitating blood disorder for 12 years. Everything has been tried, and nothing has brought a cure. Matter of fact, she's worse. 12 long years. At some point, she's either heard about Jesus' healing power or witnessed some of them. She's exhausted from all the attempts to rid her of this disorder and decides, well, why not give Jesus a try? But she does something very peculiar, and Jesus gives an odd response. She nonchalantly touches Jesus' robe he is wearing. She just brushes up against it. She doesn't seize it or grab it. She positions herself in the crowd where she can just try a little of Jesus without him or anyone else knowing. In the middle of this intense drama of going to save the life of a 12-year-old girl, Jesus stops and asks, "Who touched me?" The disciples are bewildered as there are people all around Jesus. To help you understand the crowds, this is like a rock star kind of craziness. The Greek word there means to press in on all sides. Jesus has people pressed up against him. So no wonder the disciples are inquisitive to Jesus about who touched him. You can almost hear them saying, "For real, Jesus? You're being pressed in by everyone. It's all we can do to keep you from being crushed by the madness, and you just asked who touched you?" But Jesus has a different viewpoint. While she touched nonchalantly, she touched on purpose. There were those people around who just wanted to be, part of the crowd, get close to a miracle worker and all the energy that comes with a crowd. But she touched him purposefully. When you think about that, she touched him purposefully. But she also came just like Jairus, desperately. Both share the same desperation. While Jairus had everything to lose, she had nothing to lose. Because of her illness, she would have been labeled as unclean. But once Jesus calls out who touched him, she trembles, falls to the ground, as she knows she could be judged by Jesus for this. She doesn't know what he will say. Will it be condemnation? Will it be to chastise? Her trembling indicates tremendous fear and uncertainty. Then Jesus says something that Jairus would have heard like a dagger to his own heart. Daughter, your faith has made you well. Daughter. Well, Jairus would have been thinking, what about my daughter? But this would have also likely been convicting to Jairus' own heart. This woman is someone's daughter as well. Sure, she's not as young, but she's just as loved. Lastly, isn't it interesting that the Bible records that she had this blood illness for 12 years? Let's see here. Who else had that number 12 attached to them? Oh, that's right. Jairus' daughter. She was 12 years old. When you think about this, it's okay to be a little nonchalant with Jesus, but just be purposeful. Part of our ministry at Simplify Strategies, and really at its core, is to find those people who are seeking Jesus, but they don't want everyone to know about it. It's one of the things that we like to do is just come alongside of them in a discreet way and help them in whatever way that they need help with. I want to encourage you and challenge you. If you're one of those people, it's okay. It's okay to be nonchalant with Jesus, but just be purposeful. He'll be fine with your questions. He'll be fine with everything that you want to ask him. It won't faze him in the least. So challenge him, ask him. And you know what? He'll answer. He'll let you continue to just kind of mingle amongst the crowd until you finally make that decision of like, hey, I want to follow you. Listen, next time we're going to deal with Storm 2.0. Yeah, we've dealt with a storm before, but this one's worse, right? What about for you in your life? Do you sometimes go through a storm and you're like, okay, I made it through that and that was awful, but this one's so much worse? Well, join us next time as we deal with Storm 2.0. I'm Alex Ennis with Simplify Strategies, and we will see you next time.